Hi Shwmae, sut ydych chi, croeso I Chris, dwy, what is cracking, ladies, gents, boys and girls, anyone who is anyone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Chris, and on today's episode of Poundland Page Turners, we are talking about A Very Merry Manhattan Christmas, written by Darcie Boleyn. And if you're brand new to the channel, brand new to the series, the whole point of the series is basically to explore whether or not those books you will find in Poundland being sold for £1 or £1.50 in this case, are they worth your money? And, you know, so far the answer's generally been yeah, they're pretty good. And apologies that this video is going up a little bit later than I would have liked. I've recently had another surgery done on my ankle, and I've been in a fair bit of pain, a fair bit of discomfort. Even now the thing is just unpleasant at best. So I gave myself a little bit, you know, I was a little bit more lenient with when I'd upload. That said, feel free to follow me on Twitter, because I'm trying to use Twitter a lot more now to keep, to like post updates about the channel, just to keep people informed, that's all. And if anyone's interested about my operation, I'll try and go into it with a little bit more detail towards the end of the video. So without further ado, let's talk about A Very Merry Manhattan Christmas, written by Darcie Boleyn. So first things first, I'm a realist. Let's talk about the cover, because that's the first thing you are going to see, and the cover's honestly really lovely. It's very festive, it's very nice, it's very, it's just cute, isn't it? It's a cute cover. You've got Dale and Lucy, the two main characters in the book. I'm guessing that's who they are because they look like them. Ice skating or just on the snow next to that bridge that's ironically in the Spider-Man gameplay I've been using, but I don't know what the bridge is actually called. It's a really cute cover is what I'm trying to say. I like the cover. You sort of know what you're getting when you look at the cover. We're going to flip that bad boy over and read the back, and it says, will friendship become something more? Lucy hates Christmas. It's the time of year when everything goes wrong in her life, so when she's asked to be a bridesmaid at her friend's Manhattan wedding, she jumps at the chance to get away. Dale has been best friends with Lucy for as long as he can remember. He's used to looking out for his oldest friend, and when she asks him to be her +1, he can't seem to find a reason to refuse. In New York, as the snow starts to fall, Lucy and Dale begin to realize that their feelings run deeper than just friendship. But can they overcome their past and make it a very merry Manhattan Christmas? A fun, festive, and heartwarming romance to sweep you off your feet. And that about sums it up, ladies and gents. It is a fun, festive, and heartwarming romance to sweep you off your feet. Now, I read this book in 2 sit-ins. The first sitting was obviously at home. The second sitting was in hospital when I was waiting in the wards, and it was just horrible and oppressive. But this book, you know, it injected that a little bit of festive cheer to make the whole thing go along a lot more smoothly. It wasn't as bad because I was reading a nice little Christmas book. And I say it's a nice little Christmas book because it's simple to digest. There's nothing complex. You're not reading about quantum physics. You're not reading about anything absurd. It's literally just like a nice, simple romance book to make you feel happy in the Christmas season. The question is asked, will friendship become something more? And it's very much that sort of sets the tone. You've got two very, very, very close friends, a little bit closer than best friends, and the whole thing is basically they both kind of like each other. They both kind of want to be in a relationship, but they also don't want to jeopardize the friendship they have. And I think it's something that we've all experienced in real life, maybe ourselves, maybe a loved one, who knows. It's something that's very human. It's a very human dilemma, and it's something that's very easy to associate with and connect with, and that's really a big part of the story. So Lucy and Dale are both the main characters. Lucy is a teaching assistant and Dale is a successful landscaper. They're both in their 30s, and then you've got Petra, who's Lucy's friend, who has invited Lucy to her wedding. Petra doesn't really come across as being a very nice person. She sort of comes across as being one of those people who'll just make fun of you behind your back, and I think it's sort of implied that she does that to Lucy. And although I get the impression you're not really meant to like Petra, all the characters are written to be incredibly human. They come across as very natural, very real people who are very much inspired by real people in Darcie Boleyn's life. And it's such a nice read because at no point is there a disconnect between you and the characters where you're finding yourself just unable to focus and concentrate on the story because you just cannot really believe what you're reading, which sort of was my complaint about the last book, When the Dead Speak, because what you had was a bunch of middle class people LARPing as working class people, and it's very unbelievable. It came across as quite disingenuous, whereas with A Very Merry Manhattan Christmas you have working class people playing working class people, and it's very genuine and it's very relatable. It's quite heartwarming. And although I could talk about how much I loved Darcie Boleyn's character writing, I could talk about for the rest of the video. I think I'm gonna have to move on. So let's get back. Let's start talking about the story again. So reading the story, you will find it's more or less split into two halves. And now by that I mean you got the first half. You've got a 68-page long chapter. And then you got the second half. The first half is in the UK and the second half is in Manhattan. 68 pages is quite long for a chapter in my opinion. It's something that maybe the editor could have picked up on, and it's maybe something that could have been cut into 2 or 3 separate chapters. But again, I'm not an editor myself. It's just one of them things that for me, I tend to read a chapter at a time so I can put my bookmark on a nice round page and remember it. But yeah, you know, 68 pages is quite long for a single chapter. And with this book being quite a light romance kind of book, what you're going to find is a lot of the pages are just pages to sort of develop the world, develop the characters, to give them more time to sort of interact with each other. And it's quite nice kind of thing, not having to look between the lines for like riddles or like clues to a murder or whatever, because it might literally just be Lucy and Dale hanging out for the sake of hanging out, so that the author can create more like spice with the romance kind of thing. And you know, it is actually quite nice. That does mean, however, there are a lot of pages where I just don't really feel it's necessary to comment on, because they don't really serve a massive purpose in the story. They're just things that are very relatable for humans. It's sort of stuff that we'll do in our day-to-day lives. Sort of stuff like going to the cafe on a date, have a coffee and a muffin. And it's something that's kind of small, but it's one of those sweet moments that you tend to remember a couple of years down the line. You know, oh, remember that day we went to the cafe and had that day. You get, it's like things that just help us get lost in the world of these characters. And as a result, Darcie Boleyn creates this fantastically cute, fun, heartwarming world where just for whilst you're reading the book, there's nothing going wrong in the world. It's just a nice book to get lost in. And I was sort of enjoying romance books anyway, with Together in Lilac Well, and I sort of said, oh, it would be great to have a Christmas version set in Lilac Well. And then you got a Christmas romance book, and it's like, wow, what is this? A festive romance book. So we'll have to have a look for a Halloween one. If anyone at Canelo actually watches these videos, can we get a Halloween one next year, please? That would be so good. That would be so cool. But I digress. Actually, no, I'm not going to digress a sec, because imagine a Christmas special for Brinsgrove, but in Christmas. And if you don't know, Brinsgrove is the horror book that I wrote. It would be a bleak Christmas, but it'd be pretty cool. It'd be pretty fun. It'd be an interesting thing to write. I don't know. But let's get back to the story. So for the first part of the book, one of the biggest parts of the book is when there's a big family scene with Dale and Lucy at Dale's family house. And the whole thing is that, you know, Dale's fumbled his words to his mum. His mum thinks Dale and Lucy are together, and as a result there's a big announcement at the dinner table when the food is served that Dale's not going to be there this Christmas. Whilst at the same time, Dale's brother Jenyayn is he's bringing his boyfriend over this Christmas. His boyfriend's called Barry, by the way. Now the scene's actually quite funny. It's quite heartwarming. The house is actually very lovely. It's like everyone's struggling to get around each other. It's such a cute scene. It's such a cute moment. I really enjoyed that scene. But it's probably my favourite scene from the first half. So let's talk about the second half. The second half is in America, and at this point you sort of expect like Lucy and Dale to come together and it'd be cute and lovely. The second half really is just sort of I felt it was like dominated by the wedding. The wedding was the big part of the second half. It was the main part kind of thing. And the wedding sort of, it was an alright wedding, to be honest. Lucy meets an ex. And there's a whole lot of drama, and it's fantastic, and it's such a good, it's just great. It's just fun to read. It's enjoyable. It's nice knowing it's not actually happening. And then we sort of eventually, well, we all know Dale and Lucy's going to get together because it's a romance book. Why are we fooling ourselves? But then we also get to find out why Lucy doesn't like Christmas. We find out about her mum. Now this is a spoiler. It's a twist that I'm not going to spoil. Because for £1.50 you could purchase this book, have a fantastic read, an amazing read, and enjoy the twist for yourself. But it's sort of one of them it's like bittersweet, because you're reading it, it's like, oh. Especially because they tried making out that Lucy's dad's in the wrong for moving on. It was quite like oof. It was a big oof kind of moment. It was a Roblox oof noise moment. But it's a really good ending, and the book's really good. And for £1.50, that is money well spent, my guys. What a Christmas stocking filler! Even if whap it in a Christmas stocking, my guys, you are not going to go wrong with this book. It is a romance book. Obviously, romance is going to appeal to people who like romance. I didn't know I liked romance until I read Together in Lilac Well, and I'm reading this, and I'm considering doing a Christmas special of Brinsgrove. It's one of them things. I do believe I gave it 5 out of 5 stars a good read, but I was also in hospital at the time, and I didn't really feel like writing a review whilst I was laying on my hospital bed, as uncomfortable as ever. But for £1.50, this book's actually really good, and it's ridiculous that I have to say this. The value is insane. £1.50. This is a book that's going to give you more than an hour and a half worth of enjoyment. It's the sort of book you might read and then remember sporadically throughout the year as being that cute Christmas book you read. It's a nice book. Darcie Boleyn's an incredible writer, and I'd love to read more of her work, and I maybe will, I don't know. Let's not make any promises, because these ankle operations are getting more complicated and I'm spending longer in hospital, so let's not make too many plans for the future. But yeah, for £1.50, this book's an absolute steal. You'd honestly be in the wrong for passing it up. It is such a good book for its price. It's cute, it's lovely, it's a nice romance book, it's nice and light. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And for anyone who's interested in the operation that I had on my leg, on my ankle I should say, basically how I've been describing it to everyone else is that they've scooped out my ankle joint so that my foot can now sit in my ankle. That sounds horrible, but what I'm trying to say is my foot's now sitting as it should, and there's more metal now in my ankle than there ever has been. But yeah, that's about it for the video, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Feel free to like, comment and subscribe. I did try something new this week with this video because, well, I had some constructive criticism and I took it on board. So hopefully it's a better viewing experience for you guys, because that's really the main thing when it comes down to videos. I just want to make videos people want to enjoy. So what book are we going to be talking about next time? We are going to be talking about Snowfall over Hillsmere House, which was a mouthful, but the cover's honestly really nice, and it's written by Suzanne Snow. And that'll be after Christmas in 2 weeks. So hopefully we're going to see you there. It'll be nice. It'll be nice. Then you can tell me what Santa brought you, and it'll be lovely. And it'd just be a nice time to enjoy some Christmas leftovers, enjoy opening the presents you haven't really bothered with, and just zone out and listen to me talking about a book that has probably one of the cutest covers known to men. Fingers crossed we'll see you there. So live, laugh, love. Take care of yourselves. Ta-ra, God loves you, and so do I. Take care, guys.